TMNT Cowabunga Collection. Oh my god, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. I know a lot of people don't care for it because of the online and the lag and all that too. Me personally, I mostly play my games single player anyway, so to me, it was perfect. I love the extras in it. No, I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm just a huge fan of compilation collections, especially those from Digital Eclipse. In fact, before the Cowabunga Collection, they've done other ones as well, including one of my favorite collections of all time, the Snk Collection. This is the one for the Nintendo Switch as well. And I did a video on this one earlier too, but I mean, not only do you get the game, you also get like the soundtrack on CD, you get a whole bunch of postcards, you get this art book that has all kinds of cool like hidden stuff in there too. I did a video on this one a while back when this one came out. Of course, both the Cowabunga Collection and the Snk Collection videos, if you want to check them out, link in the description below. And the Atari 50 Collection coming out soon, featuring a whole bunch of Atari games from various Atari systems, including arcade. That one is a day one purchase for me as well. I can't wait, and as soon as it comes out, hopefully I can get a a little early copy of it. And if that's the case, naturally I'll do a video on it too. I'm looking forward to it. I love compilation collections, the most bang for your buck. But it got me thinking, what other compilation collections could we get specifically from Digital Eclipse? Now, other companies do their own collections as well, and that's fine. I encourage all of them. If we could get some great collections of games, a great way to be introduced to some games that maybe you wouldn't have access to, or maybe you wouldn't even know it existed until you got a game because you're just like, oh, this is great. Perfect example for the PlayStation 2 was the Taito Memories collections. There's two of them. And there's two of them in the US and then two of them in Japan, and there's a few different games on a few different ones. But you get that because you love games like Elevator Action, Bubble Bobble, and all these great Taito games, and then you find all these other games too that maybe you didn't know existed or you forgot existed because they're so, from the arcades way back in the day. But Digital Eclipse, I mean, not only do they do like the US version and the Japanese version, they include all the extras in there as well. Now, I don't know if it's Chris Kohler or maybe Frank specifically from the Video Game History Foundation who find all these documents, who go to like the Strong Museum of Play in Rochester, look through all the archives and all that too to find all these all these documents and stuff that have never been released to the public before. And the fact that they did the Cowabunga Collection means they have a link, or at least a phone call or someone. They have someone on the inside with Konami. I was thinking about that with Konami. And like, what are some great Konami collections we can use? Now, of course, when you think Konami, you think of maybe Castlevania. At least I do. And that would be something cool, but unfortunately, they already have a Castlevania collection. This one happens to be the one I got from Limited Run Games at PAX West. This was the Super Nintendo looking Castlevania collection. And I apologize, I'm not trying to brag by holding one of these up. I mean, if I was bragging, I'd probably hold up two of them or something like that. But if they have a connection with Konami, that means they have that connection that maybe we can do more Konami collections. I mean, wouldn't it be cool to have a Goemon collection, because there are so many of them and we've only seen like 2 or 3. Well, I mean like Legend of the Mystical Ninja for the Super Nintendo. But in Japan, they had like 5 of them. There's a couple on Famicom, probably some on Game Boy. I'm pretty sure there are. There's the arcade one. There's Goemon included in some of the games like the Proteus games and stuff like that. And maybe, but then it's like, you'd have to have them translated almost to bring those out. So maybe not that one so much. I also thought of the Universal Collection too, because Universal Collection, that could have included Mr. Do and the other games too, like Mr. Do's Castle, and one of my favorite arcade games that I don't think I ever got a home port, Mr. Do's Wild Ride. I loved that game, along with whatever Universal had in the arcade. But maybe something a little bit more mainstream, something that we grew up with. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks, which would hurt. A metric ton of bricks hitting you. That would suck. Another company did the Wonder Boy Collection. Why don't we have the Adventure Island Collection? And when we think about it, Hudson's Adventure Island, Hudson Soft, Konami owns Hudson Soft. Can we do this? Can we make it happen? I mean, even just taking the base games, if we could, and it was all possible, there are 14 games we can have on this Adventure Island collection. That's right, maybe you thought of Adventure Island, probably the sequel as well, maybe the Super Nintendo version. But there are other ones that came out, and a few of them are super limited. I mean, like, either Japanese only, or maybe you forgot they existed, or maybe you didn't even know they existed. One of them particularly because it was only available in the Wii shop. So if we're having an Adventure Island collection, and please, 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 Digital Eclipse, consider my plea, here's just a brief look of all the games that could be included in the Adventure Island collection, hopefully coming soon or sometime or another to a home console near you. Well, naturally, you got the OG, you got the original, you got the one that started all this. Is Hudson's Adventure Island. This is a game I played a whole lot of. Old school gamers like myself who grew up with games like this never mind Ghosts and Goblins, never even mind Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. As far as I'm concerned, for my money, Hudson's Adventure Island is probably the most difficult game to beat on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Yeah, it's fun to play, and maybe you won't last a few levels or whatever, but when you actually play it and keep on continuing, go to those later levels, they're precise. I'm telling you, this was the original precise platformer. I loved this game, and this is the way I remember this game. Now, if you're from the Sega camp and you know it as Wonder Boy, and you're like, well, wait a minute, it's basically Wonder Boy. Well, you're right, and it is. There's somewhere along the timeline when, I mean, look at it. It's the same game. It really is. You know, got the same weapons, the skateboard and all that too, same enemies and all that. But somewhere the timeline split, and Wonder Boy went off and did its own thing, and then Adventure Island went off and did its own thing. And I prefer Adventure Island over Wonder Boy, sorry to say. Now, a few years after Hudson's Adventure Island, we got Adventure Island 2. And this took what was cool about Adventure Island, just your fun kind of platformy idea. But this time it added, like, some special features, including, like, dinosaurs you could ride and stuff like that, too. Same game by its core, that's pretty cool, and has the map screen and everything. Always love a game with a map screen. And I like the fact that you could bank your items as well, like your dinosaurs or your weapons. It's like, well, I don't need it in this level, so I'm going to bank it so I can save it for later. Maybe you want to save a dinosaur for the boss or something like that. That's a great idea. And same could be said for Adventure Island 3. And Adventure Island 3 goes for a couple of bucks now. You can still probably find it for a pretty good deal, though. But of course, if this was on a collection, you wouldn't need to worry about it because it would already be available. And Adventure Island 3, a lot like Adventure Island 2. But did you know there was an Adventure Island 4? Now, this is a Famicom exclusive, unfortunately, and this one may be the best of the lot. Now, of course, I'm most nostalgic for the first one, but this one plays more like that Wonder Boy style of game, where it's a little bit more open world. You just kind of go around, you have your hearts you can collect, there's items you can collect as well. A little Metroidvania style of game here. Adventure Island 4 has not been officially translated, but I wonder if they could even reach out to the people who translated the Famicom version, the patch, and get it licensed to have it be an official translation for the game. I think that would be super cool. I'd love to see that. They did have a couple of Game Boy games for the Game Boy Classic. Adventure Island is basically Adventure Island 2. It's just on the Game Boy though, but it's, for its core, it's called Adventure Island, but it plays more like Adventure Island 2. And then Hudson's Adventure Island 2 plays more like Adventure Island 3. Confused yet? Well, at least we're not getting into the Mega Man games. That gets a little confusing, but there are a couple of Game Boy games you could throw on here too, just to see what they would be like. In Japan, for the Game Boy Advance, they had the Hudson Best Collection Volume 6, and Volume 6 had Adventure Islands 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I'll just show you gameplay footage of the first Adventure Island, so you can see there's a little bit of a difference, the color's a little different, it just looks a little different, right? This is how it looked on the Game Boy Advance when you were playing it, which also means you get a little bit more of a wider aspect ratio, just because the Game Boy Advance had a wider screen to it. So there you go, just a bonus. I mean, the same games that are already on there, but the Game Boy Advance version, you could do that. Don't even need to worry about translating it, I'll just take it as is. Moving on to the Super Nintendo. Oh boy, did I play a whole lot of this game when it first came out. Loved the music to this game too. Loved the fact that you use like whistles and stuff like that. And the music. When the whistle becomes a musical instrument, why not? Super Adventure Island, I had so much fun playing this game. I never beat it though. But when you add what Digital Eclipse can do for their games, save states, not only that, but also the ability to rewind, maybe some bonus features like never run out of health and all that, I could play through this. I mean, sure, I could probably use a Game Genie too, but I'd rather do it this way. Big fan of Super Adventure Island, and then Super Adventure Island 2.
This is Adventure Island 2!
That's right. This one goes to more the exploration factor. A little bit more like a Monster World game, a little bit more like a Wonder Boy game, where you can, move around the whole island and, find out where you need to go. Maybe you can't go there yet, you gotta come back and do something else when you get a different item. A lot of fun to be had with this game, and would love to see this on this collection. They have a new Adventure Island. This is for the TurboGrafx 16. I love me some TurboGrafx 16. This one kind of, is a little bit like the first one, but just, with the TurboGrafx 16 style. Again, I love the TurboGrafx 16. It's a game that, if you played Hudson's Adventure Island, maybe you never had a chance to play this game, because not everyone had a TurboGrafx 16. How many more times can I say TurboGrafx 16? I like the fact that you can pick up arrows in this game, too. That was always kind of fun. This is going to be an oddball request, and it will make no sense for the first 5 seconds I mention it. While we're at it, include JJ and Jeff. What? How does JJ and Jeff have anything to do with Hudson's Adventure Island? Well, the thing is, J&J and Jeff is from Hudson Soft, so you're already good for the licensing there from Konami. And the game itself, as weird and as wacky and as crazy as it looks, it's basically Hudson's Adventure Island, because you have your vitality bar that keeps on going down until you pick up the fruit. And the fruit gives you more health on the way. And you have other things that you can do along the way too. And this game is just kind of a quirky game, and again, a pretty difficult game when you consider it along the lines of like a Hudson's Adventure Island. Just for fun, as a bonus, maybe as a, if you beat the TurboGrafx 16 version, it unlocks this version or something like that. I don't know, just throw it in there. Did you know they made a remake of Adventure Island on the GameCube? It only came out in Japan, Now, I don't have this, so I'm using someone else's footage, as you can clearly see. But Hudson Soft made a few remakes, including Bonk's Adventure 2, and we can talk about that for another video for another time. But they did an Adventure Island game on the GameCube as part of this Hudson Selection. This is Volume 4 here. Again, it's one of those games that not a lot of people know existed. Not a lot of people know it's out there. And the people who remember Hudson's Adventure Island have fond memories of it. It's got to be a game that you got to check out. The GameCube version of Adventure Island. And these bosses are insane. It's a game that I personally need to import still. I still need to play this game. Did you know that they made an Adventure Island game? This is Adventure Island The Beginning for the Wii in the Wii shop. And if you missed out, well, it looked like this. It almost has a little bit of that GameCube style that we just saw a second ago. But for the Wii, like Wii, because it never came out physically. If it came out physically, you probably would have known about it. When the Wii started doing these Wii Shop digital exclusives and stuff like that, there's so many games that people passed up on, and I downloaded a lot of them back in those days. It was perfect for me because I just had my first child, so I downloaded a whole lot of games on my Wii. But yeah, there's an Adventure Island at the beginning for the Nintendo Wii. You can check it out right now, and I would love it if they would include this in that Adventure Island collection. Digital Eclipse, please make this happen. I'll love you forever. I'll love you anyway, but all the same. I'm not the only one who did a compilation video too. Check out the links in the description below as well. Some of my favorite YouTube buddies of mine, we all kind of went together saying, well, if there was going to do another collection, what collection would you choose? So I did my video, Game Dad did his video, Square Pegs did his video, Gary from Rock Solid Productions did their video too. Check out all those videos.